This time, we will arrive at the amplifier circuit that uses a BJT, which we call a common emitter. This is similar to the common source, meaning it is the most widely used amplifier circuit configuration. Now we will look at the properties of this amplifier circuit if we write it out. This is the small signal circuit before replacing the BJT with its model, which is the hybrid P model like this. Don't forget to practice drawing how this circuit comes about, and the amplifier of this circuit is this part here. This is the amplifier. Let's just write AM for short. Now let's try to analyze what its characteristics are. First, for the R input, if we looking from the base pin with the emitter pin grounded, and we use the hybrid P model, we can see that looking into this node, between this node and ground, there is only one resistor, which is RP. So R input is RP and V input is VP, which is the voltage drop across the base and emitter pins. We can write this as an equation, right? This is a voltage divider circuit, isn't it? We want to find the voltage drop across RP. We can write the equation for this as follows, and it is equal to VP, right? And for V output, the current flows in this direction, right? So V output is equal to minus GM VP times RC. VP is V input, so if we move it to the other side, we get the open circuit gain, which is equal to minus GM RC. What about R output? What is its value? It must be equal to RC, right? To find the R output, the first step is to do what? Short circuit the V input side, right? Short. Now V input is equal to 0, right? V input is VP, isn't it? Once we short this node with this node, the voltage becomes 0. This part is cut off, so only RC remains. The only component looking into this specific port is connected directly to ground, so it effectively becomes an RC circuit configuration like this. After that, we have to remember that this is still an open circuit gain, right? Now if we decide to connect a load, and we connect that load specifically to the output side right here, the behavior of the circuit will change significantly. This is RL, so you can see that RL and RC are connected in parallel. So we get that these are in parallel, which is this one, right? The voltage drop across this component is determined by the current flowing in this specific direction, right? So we have GM times VP. Now what does that actually come out to be equal to? Oh wait, I meant volt. Sorry about that. This is volt, right? So volt equals negative GM VP multiplied by what? It's RL in parallel with RC. Actually, I don't have enough space on the board to write that out clearly. Let me just erase this section and rewrite that equation for you so it's easier to follow. By now, we should probably already know this, right? Negative GM VP RC in parallel with RL. And VP is just V input, right? If we move it to the other side, we get this result. And what about the overall voltage gain from V signal all the way to V output here? We can write it like this, divided into two zones, right? The first zone is right here, isn't it? By zone, I mean the ratio. Vi over V signal is this zone here, the voltage drop across the input. And after that, you will see that the voltage also drops across this section here as well. We are looking at the ratio of volt over V, which is exactly this term right here. So if you follow the steps, you will arrive at the final value, which looks something like this. I really hope that you are all familiar with this concept by now, right? It is the standard expression involving RP, which is a critical parameter for this analysis, divided by RP plus R signal, and then this part right here, this specific term, is equal to Vi divided by V signal. I hope you're not confused. Let me write out the variables. VP, right? It's equal to what? Vi is equal to RP divided by RP plus R signal. All of this multiplied by what? V signal, right? Vi over V signal, moving this over, so it's equal to this value. And where does the minus sign come from? The minus sign comes from the gain up there. So you can see that for the BJT, since the input and the signal have been attenuated, so we can see that it is attenuated, which is different from the MOSFET. For the MOSFET, the R input is infinity, and the V signal appears directly at the V input as well. But for the BJT, the R input has a value equal to, it is attenuated, that's it. Because this specific setup functions as a voltage divider circuit, the resulting output ratio will naturally be significantly lower than the raw gain of the amplifier itself. This is the attenuation rate, which represents the reduction of the signal itself. This clearly shows that, as written, the effect of finite input resistance is that it causes the voltage gain to decrease. Essentially, this resistance acts as part of a voltage divider, which alters the ratio of the voltage divider and ultimately leads to a lower output signal than expected. However, there is a very important variable that really helps us in these calculations, which is the transconductance, or GM. And for a BJT, it is usually significantly higher than that of a MOSFET, which is a key distinction. Now, let's go ahead and try doing some practice problems together, following example 4 in our set, which specifically covers the common emitter configuration. Using a BJT with a beta of 100, an IC of 1 mA, and a collector resistor RC of 5 kilo ohms, we need to find its various properties. We have already successfully developed the fundamental equations for this circuit, but before we proceed further into the analysis, I want you to pause and observe a truly critical point, a key observation that will simplify your understanding moving forward. Specifically, consider the gain of this configuration. What is it actually equal to? It is defined as negative GM multiplied by the total effective resistance seen between the collector terminal and the AC ground. This is a fundamental relationship in transistor analysis. I really want you to commit this to memory right now. Please keep this specific point in mind as we continue, because having this intuitive grasp of the gain formula will be incredibly helpful for us later when we tackle more complex circuit derivations. For now, just take my word for it. Alright, let's look at this example. It asks us to find various properties stating that for this signal source, the small signal has an R signal value of 5 kilo ohms and the load resistance is also 5 kilo ohms. We need to find the gain and the overall gain. The gain of the amplifier and the overall gain of the circuit. Let's try solving the problem. The circuit looks like this. What should we do first? Alright, the example says to find GM. So let's try to find GM, the GM of the MOSFET. For a BJT, it's equal to IC divided by VT. So what does that come out to? 1 milliampere divided by 26 millivolts. It equals 38.46 millisiemens. Now, moving on to the next part. What about RPI? Well, RPI, as you might remember from our previous discussions, is simply defined as VT divided by IB. That is the standard formula, right? This expression can be broken down into VT divided by IC over beta, or alternatively, it is equal to beta divided by GM. Now, we already know the value of beta, right? If we assume the current is this specific value, then the equation simplifies to 100 divided by GEM. When you perform that calculation, it comes out to exactly 2.6 kilo ohms. So, with all of that information laid out, what exactly is the final value of our input in this circuit configuration? See, if you are looking directly into this specific port, you will notice that there is only this port and ground, right? So, effectively, there is only RPI present, which we know equals 2.6 kilo ohms. Now, let us consider the gain before we actually connect the load. What is that equal to? It is simply negative GMRC, right? This is the case specifically because the load has not been connected to the circuit yet, so we are just looking at the unloaded gain. If you remember, it's negative GM multiplied by the total resistance between the collector and AC ground, right? Right now, with no load connected, there's only RC. Just that one, which equals 38.46 multiplied by 5 kilo ohms, resulting in negative 192.2. And what's next? We need to find the R output, right? How do we do that? So we start by setting Vi to 0, right? Which means shorting this to ground. Since Vi equals 0, VPI also equals 0, correct? And this part is open circuited. Since the current here is 0, it means this part is open circuited, right? Looking into this port with respect to ground, the output resistance R sees only RC. Just that one. Oops, sorry. It's RC to ground, which equals RC, having a value of 5 kilo ohms. So that's the setting for this part already. there are still other parts we need to find. The problem statement instructs us to connect a load resistance of 5 kilo ohms at the output terminal and then find both AV and TV. Now, connecting that load to the output terminal looks something like this in our circuit diagram, which has a value of 5 kilo ohms, right? So what is the gain value? It is equal to, if we talk about it as a ratio, it would be V out divided by V in, which is equal to negative GM times what? What is the total resistance between the collector and ground? So looking at the circuit, we have both an RC component and an RL component present, right? That means we are dealing with an RC circuit connected in parallel with an RL circuit. To find the equivalent value, we need to calculate the parallel combination of these two. This calculation works out to 38.46 multiplied by 2.5. When you perform that multiplication, the result comes out to exactly 96. Now we must remember to keep that negative sign from our previous step, which gives us a final value of negative 96.15. Can you see the picture here? Once the load is connected, the gain decreases. Do you see? This is normal, right? After we have finished with those initial calculations, let's move on to find the overall gain of the circuit. Now, how exactly should we go about doing that? Well, if you remember from our previous discussions, the gain of this specific circuit is written out like this. It is the R input divided by the sum of R input plus R signal, right? And then, of course, we need to multiply that entire fraction by the gain. Now, you might be asking, what exactly is R input in this context? Well, R input is simply equal to RPI, right? So by substituting that in, we get the result that RPI is equal to 2.6 divided by, let me see, this is 5 plus 2.6. And then all of that is multiplied by negative 96.15. I've removed the kilo units here. The kilo on top and the kilo on the bottom cancel each other out. What value does that give us? So let's look at the calculation. 2.6 divided by 7.6, and then we multiply that result by 96.15. That gives us a final value of negative 32.89. Okay, so now that we have that part sorted, we are almost finished with this problem, right? But wait, there is one more condition we need to consider. The question also asks us to assume that VPI is limited to a specific range of 5 millivolts only. Given this constraint, we need to find the corresponding values for V signal and volt to see what they should be in this scenario. Looking at this circuit diagram, we can derive the relationship by writing that VPI equals RPI divided by the sum of RPI plus R signal, and then all of that is multiplied by V signal, right? It is a straightforward voltage divider relationship. Therefore, let's take a moment to determine the value of the V signal. Well, it's essentially VPI multiplied by the sum of RPI plus R signal, all of which is then divided by RPI. So if we calculate that out, what does that actually come out to in the end? If we take 7.6 and divide it by 2.6, and then take that result and multiply it by VPI, the final calculation comes out to exactly 14.62 millivolts. Now, moving on to the next part, what about the V output? Well, the V output can actually be determined in several different ways, right? For instance, if we decide to find it starting from this specific value here, we can proceed as follows. We can also utilize this specific definition to solve the problem by stating that V out is equal to V input multiplied by the gain of the second amplifier stage. If we look at the numbers, this calculation comes out to 5 millivolts multiplied by 96.15. Now please don't forget, we actually do not need to include the negative sign in this particular step of the calculation, so we just use 96.15. When you perform that multiplication, the final result comes out to exactly 0.48 volts. Alternatively, we can choose to think about this entire process in a completely different way by considering that this specific component here, let's break this down. The definition is equal to what exactly? It is simply Vout divided by V signal. Now remember that Vout can also be found by taking V signal and multiplying it by the overall circuit gain. So if we put those two concepts together, what does that actually come out to in the end? 14.62 multiplied by this, right? 32.89. The result is the same, which is 0.48 volts as well.